Do you have any idea what your monthly expenses are? Do you know what they will be in retirement? And how are you sure? Hi, I'm Garrett Ray, financial planner here at the Wealth Guardians and the Ray Financial Group.
And I'm Brice Payne, and you've entered The Vault, the Wealth Guardians video series on all things pertaining to retirement planning. In this episode, we're going to talk about household budgets, how to calculate a household budget, why tracking expenses is important in the first place. Why do we have to do that? Different types of expenses. We're going to go over those, what changes in your household expenses in retirement, and then some budgeting no-nos that you want to make sure that you avoid when it comes to trying to track your budget. Like and subscribe buttons down below the screen there. You've seen them before. You haven't clicked on them yet. Go ahead and click on them. Make sure you catch all the future episodes of The Vault with Doug, Garrett, and myself. As for this episode, let's go ahead and get started on it. Garrett, first question would be, why is tracking expenses important? So you and I, we meet with about, here at the Wealth Guardians, we meet with about 50 couples a year or so. And there's almost all of our job is math-based. And we're doing these calculations. Somebody is coming to us wanting to know if they're okay to retire. When can they retire tomorrow? Those kind of questions.
Get that question a lot.
And we give them that answer by way of math. And one of the components that you have to know in that algorithm, if you will, is how much are you spending on a monthly basis? How much are you going to be spending on a monthly basis? The reason this is important is the other two factors that we need to know is what is going to be your sources of income now and in through retirement, and what assets have you accumulated up to this point, or how much assets will you accumulated by the time you retire. We have to know all three of those things. Well, everybody knows how much they make. When somebody comes in and sits down and I ask them, how much do you make? They generally know the answer.
Everybody knows their salary.
They know that. Ask them, how much do you have? If they add up their IRAs and their 401ks, their Roth accounts, their unqualified accounts, their 1099 accounts, how much do we have? Generally, people have a pretty good idea of how much they have. Now we ask them, how much do you want to spend in retirement, or will you need to spend in retirement? Deer caught in headlight.
You get a lot of kind of people sit back. They're just, ooh.
I don't know exactly.
Not sure.
Let's say between $3,000 and $7,000. Not very helpful. So that's why it's important. If you want to get an answer from a retirement planner on whether or not you're okay to retire, we have to know the components of the equations and what your monthly spending is going to be in retirement. You can't give somebody an answer without knowing that. So that's why it's important.
Exactly. And a lot of people, Brice, what we see is they might have had like a goal of how much they want to save or invest before retirement. Let's say they hit $1 million and they're feeling pretty good. Well, if you're spending, $4,000, maybe $5,000 a month, you're probably okay. If you're spending $15,000, $20,000 a month and you have a higher lifestyle, you're probably not okay.
$1 million isn't going to cut it in that case.
Absolutely. So, Brice, let's talk about, as people are working through their budgets, trying to understand a little bit better, what are the different types of expenses that your average person, your average couple is going to go through in life?
So we can break it up, your expenses up into a couple of different categories. The first category would be your obligatory spending, something that you have to make the payment on a monthly basis. Mortgages or debts, those kind of things. Even your utilities, the garbage man, the water bills, cell phone, perhaps.
Power bill.
You've got to make these payments. Otherwise, things don't happen the way that they're supposed to around the house. So that's your obligatory spending. Now you've got your necessary spending. Food in the fridge, gas in the car. Nobody's going to come knocking on your door if you don't buy groceries and put gas in your car, but you probably need to. So that's your necessary spending. Then we've got discretionary spending. This is the part that we enjoy spending our money on. Our hobbies, going out to eat, going to the movies,
entertainment,
vacations, weddings, Christmas gifts, those kind of things, vacations. So that's your discretionary spending. So we want to make sure we're adding all of that up as well. And that sometimes can get a little harder because you see it all the time, Garrett. When somebody adds up their expenses, they completely overlook the discretionary spending. They think they're just adding up
their bills.
Right.
And maybe the groceries, we average about $350 a month on groceries. Okay. What else are we spending on?
Right. So we want to make sure that we're including that discretionary spending as well. On top of that, now, when we're calculating our budget, you can't just look at last month and say, okay, I spent $5,000 last month. My monthly expenses are therefore $5,000.
Yep.
Doesn't work like that. We have to think of the seasonal or annual expenses. That'd be car registration or car insurance.
Yep.
You don't pay that every month in most cases.
In most cases.
Once or twice a year. What else do we have? You've got annual expenses. Your HOA fees.
HOA fees may not be every month.
Could be one. Yep. Or your taxes on your home might be something that you only pay
property tax
once a year.
Yep.
So you got to make sure that you're including all those annual expenses, divide them by 12 and add that into your monthly budget. And then on top of that, we've got occasional expenses. Now that's something that might not even come up routinely once a year. It might be, we're getting a new car next year. We don't do that every year.
Yeah, every 5 to 10 years, you purchase a new car. Lots of times people want to remodel, like they're remodeling the kitchen, remodeling the bathrooms. Might do it once every 10 to 15 years, but
got to make sure you're including that.
Yeah, it's got to be on the budget.
Okay, there you go. So that's basically the different types of expenses that you have when you start to calculate what your budget is.
Okay, Brice, so we talked about different types of expenses. What changes with regards to our budget when we start entering our retirement years?
Yeah, so our expenses when we're 40, maybe even 50 years old, changes significantly when we become 60 and 70 years old.
Okay.
In a number of different aspects. A lot of times your mortgage is paid off by that point. Kids are no longer living in the homes, or you're not supporting the kids anymore.
Right.
They're hopefully
It's not full time. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got their jobs, they've started their families, so that's off your list. What else do we have? Healthcare costs can change when you are in retirement. You might not have, when you're working, you might have a employer-sponsored health plan.
Yep.
That's not probably going to be there when you retire from your employer.
Right.
So your healthcare expenses are going to change as well. Travel expenses change. Now, when we start talking about traveling, you got to understand this concept as well. And when we teach a lot of people about this, what we refer to as the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years.
Mm-hmm.
When you retire, there's going to be some expenses that spike up.
Sure.
A lot of that is around travel-based, or buying an RV and you want to now tour the U.S. Get a lot of clients who actually do that. It's not just making that one up. That's a lot of people want to do that. Mm-hmm. So your expenses are going to change right after you retire. You're going to start checking some of these things off of the bucket list, the to-do list.
Sure.
And that's going to be expensive. Right. And that might be for 5-10 years.
Yeah.
But now at that point, once you started to check most of those off, you start slowing down.
Yeah. We're taking our 7th cruise. We're good.
We're good with that.
Yep.
Seen every island in the Caribbean. Don't need to see anymore. Let's just start slowing things down. Maybe go see some places in the state instead of around the world. Mm-hmm. All right. So now we've entered our slow go years, and you'll eventually, most of us will usually get to a point. Sometimes I feel like I'm already at this point. Is the no-go years. Okay. The last thing I want to do is go anywhere. I just want to sit and watch my football games, relax around my house. So what happens at that point? Your travel expenses, you're doing other things, your hobbies, those expenses probably go down, but healthcare expenses start to go up.
Father time comes for us all.
Yep. So you start to go to the doctor more frequently, start to spend more on exams and x-rays and those kind of things.
Sure.
And so your healthcare expenses go up. So those are the types of expenses that can change for you in retirement. I see a lot of people make this mistake. I'm almost wanting to be guilty of it myself. You think to myself, I've been very fortunate. I'm 55 years old. I've never had hardly any health issues. Probably don't need to consider any health issues going forward as well.
Yep.
Yeah, just because the car has been maintenance free at 100,000 miles does not mean it's going to make it to 200,000 miles maintenance free.
Very good. Very good comparison there. So we talked about different types of expenses, how your budget could change and likely will change as you get into your retirement years. As people are putting together their monthly budgets or tracking their expenses, Brice, what are some things that they absolutely should not do? Big budgeting no-nos.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're going to calculate your own budget, I certainly applaud you for doing that. Would applaud you even more for having a holistic financial planner help you with that. But if you haven't gotten to one yet, please don't overlook this. Go ahead and start going over your budget with a fine-tooth comb. Some mistakes you don't want to make. Don't underestimate what your spending is. Yeah. If we're going to be conservative, then that would mean that we overestimate what our expenses are so that when they are really less, we've overplanned for that.
Yep.
All right. So don't underestimate what your expenses are. Don't neglect to consider inflation. If you're getting by on $4,000 a month, don't therefore project $4,000 a month is what you're going to spend every month for the rest of your life. Inflation is out there, and that $4,000 now will be $8,000 at a certain point in the future.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that we're calculating for inflation. And then again, go back to these one-offs. How often are you going to be buying a new car? For some people, it's every 5 years. For other people, maybe only once in retirement are they going to buy a new car. So all of those one-offs are going to be a second home purchase.
Second home purchase.
Therefore, you might have a second home mortgage.
Yep. Or got to replace the roof on our existing house. It's 20 years old now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there are these one-offs. Another one might be a wedding. Maybe you've got a couple of daughters and they're going to get married at some point. Generally have to foot the bill for that. So there's all these things that you have to make sure that you consider that you don't want to overlook. So those are your no-nos.
Yep. Now, Brice, we do have a resource on our website.
We do.
Yeah. So if you want to go to thewealthguardians.com, we do have a budget worksheet for those of you and it basically itemizes things that we commonly spend money on. If it doesn't apply to you, then obviously you can skip that line item. But it's a way as kind of a stark reminder. Oh yeah, I do pay for that every single month, and I forgot to put
my dry cleaning. Oh, I didn't think about dry cleaning. Yep. Yeah, well, it might not be an expense you have in retirement, but it's an expense that you have very likely
during your working years.
Yeah. So it's just a good list that helps you make sure that you are not overlooking something.
Absolutely.
Basically. So, yep, we've got that as well. Well, anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Vault. Thank you for joining us. Again, those like and subscribe buttons down below the screen there, they're your friend. Go ahead and click on those, and you can catch all future episodes of The Vault with Doug, Garrett, and myself. As for this episode, I'm Brice Payne.
And I'm Garrett Ray.
And this has been The Vault. Hey, it's Brice Payne with the Wealth Guardians. Thanks for watching our weekly series, The Vault. Do you know we also have a weekly radio show where we discuss all things retirement? You can listen to the Wealth Guardians radio show live on 94.5 WPTI in the Triad on Saturday mornings. But if you miss the live broadcast, you can also catch it on our YouTube channel or find us on your favorite podcast platform each Saturday morning. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen so you can get notifications when we release new episodes. Want you to remember, good retirement plans do not create themselves. We'll talk to you soon.